Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we have an exciting video lined up for you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an update from our channel.
Guys, in this video, we will be learning debug Python code with PyCharm. What is debugging? Why and when we use debugging and how debugging works in Python. We will be covering these many points in this video. Debug the Python program, breakpoints, how we use step into step over function, what are watch variables, what is inline debugging, and how we use expression on breakpoints. But before getting started with anything, first we need to discuss what is debugging. Debugging is the process of finding and fixing error or bugs in the source code of any software. When software does not expected, computer programmers study the code to determine why any error occurred. Okay, it is clear there is some error in your code. Okay, now see how does the debugging process work. First, we have to identify the error. Okay. Then we have to analyze the error, how it came. The last step we have to fix and we have to validate whether error is fixed. Okay. So what are the coding errors that require debugging? Okay. We have so many syntax errors, semantic errors, logic error, runtime errors. So we will be focusing on these two terms, logical errors, runtime errors, right? How we can debug the program. Now question is, there are various tools by which debugging can be performed, right? For Python program. First, PyCharm IDE, we have already with us, Visual Studio, Komodo IDEs, right? Rollbar. There are so many IDE, right? Where we can use debugging features to debug the program. Okay. So let's move to our agenda. If you see, we have very simple program wherein we are getting the sum of all the numbers from this array, right? We are getting the sum of all the elements. Second, we are finding whether any number is even or not. Two things we are doing in the program, right? If you run the program, so your output will look like, so 1 is odd, 2 is even, 5 is odd, 6 is even, 7 is odd, and the sum of all the numbers is 21. When you run the program, this program, so you use this run button, right? You are saying just execute, okay? Because the execution starts, from beginning to the last. Line by line execution happens, okay? When you click on this button, so all the line executed in a sequence, one by one. First the cursor comes to this line, then cursor comes to, in the sequence it is getting performed, right? Now second option, to run the program in debugging mode with the help of this button, right? This button you can look into your programs if there is any error, right? If there is any wrong in your program, what this button provides you, this button provides you the environment to debug the programs. Okay, you can check your execution of the statement one by one. You can check your variables values at the same time. What is that? So there are two ways. First, you run the program. Second, you debug the program. So why do you need to debug the programs? Because there are some issues in your program. That's why you need to debug the programs. So we are first talking about, there is some error. What is the error? If you run the program, you will see all things looks fine here, no problem. Let's say instead of the current index, if I put 0, okay, in this number array, so the sum of the all the numbers would be wrong, right? By mistake, developer made a mistake in the program and they delivered the program to the quality team, right? When quality team checks the program, so they find the sum of the number is not correct, right? As per the input, the sum of the numbers is not correct. Okay, so what you will do, you will analyze the program, you will debug the program then. Okay, now error is produced as per your input, sum is not correct, you know this point. Now it is the developer duty to debug the program to identify where the problem is. So let's debug the program now. To debug the program, so you have to stop your execution somewhere in the program at some line, right? So to stop your execution, you have to click anywhere, any of the line, like this. You see there is a red circle comes in when you click on the line here in this area. So one red marks is placed. So this is the symbol where we have set the breakpoint, right? This breakpoint we have set here. So when our programs runs, the execution will stop here. You have to just click on this debug button. If you run on the debug button, so your debugger window will be open. These windows will be open. Okay, you see your debugger window is now ready for your use. Okay, now what is this window? This window actually has several areas. One is a thread, right? You know thread. What is thread? Every programs which runs on the computer based on the thread, right? So it's a main thread by which your program, your PyCharm is getting executed in the operating system. So it always shows like this. So you don't need to worry about this thing. Okay, just ignore this one. You just focus on these buttons, right? What are these buttons? What you are doing from these buttons, right? So here we are going to use this button to identify what is the error in our program. Okay, so our programs now stops here. If you see your every line, there is a inline debugging. You see when your this line executed, so it actually prepares the output for this, like number as 1257. Okay, now index is 0. You see its value is 0. So these are the inline debugging, you can say. Okay, after that you can watch every variables here in this window, inline watches. You will be able to see all the values, which variables have taken which value, right? See this button. So this button actually for restarting the debugging. If you click on this, your debugging window will restart again. If you click on this stop button, your debugging will be stopped, like here. If you run this, so your execution will be resume. Okay, now if you see this button step over and step into, so these are the buttons we have to use to check our execution line wise line. Either you click on this button or you press F7 from your keyboard. If you press F7, you see as soon as you press F7, in the next line it is showing the output of the previous line. Okay, you see sum of number is still 0 because you have not calculated anything so far. Okay, here what we are doing, it is actually counting the length of the array, this line. If you again press F7, so it will gives you the records 5. This is the variable name and it is showing the 5 elements are there in this array. Okay, you can see. So this debugging window helping you every line, it is showing you the value for each variables, right? You can see there is a while operation. What it is doing, it is actually iterating all the items from the array till this length of the array ends, right? And here we are checking if index is less than the total number of items in the array, it will keep running in the loop. Okay, this statement, index is 0, so we are going to deal with our first index from this array. Okay, when you press F7 again, so it will check first this condition, right? Whether index is less than records or not. So index value, you can see it is 0 and records value, what is it? It is 5. Yes, this statement is true. So cursor comes into the next line. Just press F7 again. You see it is coming into the next line. Okay, now here what it is saying, it is saying just cumulate, the sum of the numbers, right, in one variables every time when these loops run. So you just accumulate the value of the elements, right, in one variables. So you have to again press F7 or you can click on your you can click again your maybe step into from this button. Okay, you see it is the same thing. Now if you see sum of the number is 1 because we are taking the number 0 means the index of this list, and on the 0 position we have 1, so it has taken the 1 here, sum of number 1. Now this is the function from where we are getting whether the number is even or not. So this is the formula to get the number is even or not. So we are getting number percentile 2. If it is 0, no reminder, and it is saying true, otherwise it is saying false. So this function we are calling here, and into this function we are passing the number, the current index from the list. Okay, and it will return us something. Okay, whether the number is even or not. Right, now we see what is the difference between step over and step into. Right, step into means if we are using any method, okay, on any line, so step into will take our cursor to the method. Right, if we use step over, it will execute the complete method straight away. Okay, it will not go to the function. This is the difference between step over and step into. Let's say if we click on step into, right, you see now cursor goes to the method. It is saying number you have passed as a 1. Now it is going to calculate the whether it is even or not. Yeah, it is not even because one number is odd, so it has set false, and then it will return this value. Right, if you click again step into, then click again, so it will give you the value as a return false value because the number which you passed from this index 1, index 0, it is 1 and it is odd number. That's why it is giving you the false. Right, you see B is returning false. Okay, so this is how we can use step into and step over. If you want to move further, you just click on step over, it will give you the false, and then it is checking whether B is true or not. If B is true, that it is saying this number, the current number in this loop is even, otherwise it is saying it is odd. Right, so when we click again into step over, right, so the condition is false, that's why it is saying this number would be odd. Which number? If you see, so if you want to see what is the value of this number, you can copy, right, copy, and you can add your whatever variables value you want to see. While debugging, you can just use the evaluate expression. Right, you just paste your value here, your statement, and then click on add to watch. Now every time when you move your cursor in the debugging, this value keep changing, result will keep change, your B value will keep change, index script will be changing every time. Okay, if you click again the step over, so now it will move further the execution, and click again step over. Now you see while is now resuming again, this time index value is 1. You see now this time index value is 1, in the previous iteration it was 0. Even you can see the number from the index, right, numbers from the index from this list, it is 2 because the current index is now 1. On this first position we have value as a 2, that's why it is showing 2. You can see in your watch window, this is called watch window, you can see your all local variables in the program. Okay, so then you click again step over. Right, now we will see the difference between step over and step into. This time we will be using step over. So my cursor right here on this line where we are calling this method, right? Now I will click on the step over. So clicking on the step over, so now the cursor did not go to this function, because step over means we are getting the result from the function. We are not going to debug the function. We are getting the result from the function directly. So this is the difference between step over and step into. In step into, we were able to debug the function also. Okay. Now on the second position, you see there is a 2 value and this 2 is passed, right? And it returns true. It means the number 2 is even. It returns true, and this condition will be checked and it will say it is true. It is printing number is even. Okay. You see, now we have incremented the index. Okay. Then it comes to the third iteration. Okay. In the third element, index is now become 2. Then sum is now become 2, 1 and 2. Now we have got the error. You see, still sum of the number is 2. You observed, because it should be 3. What is the problem? So it means somewhere number index is passing wrong. Okay. Oh, we got the issue. This is 0. Every time when the loop iterates the value, so always it is taking, 1 as is 0. It is always taking the first index, the first value of the list, right? Every time. That's why it is giving us 5. Complete your programs. Then you can click here. You see, your whole execution will be completed. As soon as you click on this button, you are saying, I don't want to debug anything more, right? Just give me the output. So you can click on this button. Your execution will be completed. Now the output is 5. You see how to fix. We have to put the index here. Okay. Because here we are passing correct thing. But at the time when we are accumulating the value, we have by mistake set the index as a 0 always. That was the problem. So we identify the problem, we analyze the problem, now we are fixing the problem. If you run the program again, we don't need to debug the program again. If you click here, so your output will be fine too as per your elements. So your output is 21. Okay, so this is how debugging works. Now let's see our another point. We have seen debug, breakpoints, step into, step over, watch variables, right? Inline debugging we have also seen, right? You were getting the variables, right? You can see it. If you run the debug, you will see inline debugging means your cursor comes here. If you want to add this as a watch, add inline watch, you see this is inline watch. As soon as cursor comes here, so it will evaluate the value from this statement, right? If you click on the, if you click on, let's say, step over, and then you will see as soon as this is 1, the value is 1. Okay, you can see the value. Okay, there is one more thing, expression on the breakpoint. If you want to stop your execution on the basis of your certain condition, so this can also be possible, right? How? Let's say if I want to stop my execution when the index is 3, then only I want to stop it. Let's say I want to stop the execution here. Okay, I put the breakpoint. Multiple breakpoints you can put, right? The requirement is I want to stop the execution, I want to break the execution only if the index is 3, right? When the index value is 3. So how we will do that? So we have to just right click on this breakpoint and we have to set the condition. What we are saying? We are saying if index equals to 3, right? We click on done. Now our condition is set on these breakpoints. Okay, it will stop here when the index value is 3. If you debug the program, so you will be able to see the execution will be stopped only at the index is 3. You see, index is 3, it is stopped, and so far the sum is 14, right? 0, 1, 2 and 3, and sum of these four values are 14, 5, 6, 2 and 1. You see, our execution is stopped here because we have put the condition. I want to stop it when my condition is true. Just evaluate it. So this is the other advantage of using expression on breakpoint. You don't need to, debug your program for all the iteration. You have doubt on some specific index. So you have said, okay, check the execution at the time when the index value is 3. So we have said, we don't need to debug our program every time for previous index 0, 1 and 2. Okay, it actually reduce our debugging time to identify the issue. Okay, from here you can see all your breakpoints into the project, into the programs. So you can see these are the different programs wherein we have used our breakpoints. So anytime if you want to disable your breakpoints, you can disable, right? If you click here, so you see your icons becomes different now. It means it is disabled. We want to enable it again, click on this checkbox and then it will enable again. Okay, so these are very helpful window to identify issues. Okay,
That brings us to the end of the today's video. We hope you found it informative and engaging. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content on all things tech related. Thanks for watching and we will see you in the next video.